Next topic is protein binding of the drugs. If the drug forms in complex with the drug, this phenomena is known as complex. This phenomena of complex formation is known as protein drug binding. The drug can interact with the plasma components or the tissue proteins or with other macromolecules such as melanin and DNA to form a drug macromolecule complex. This complex is known as drug protein binding. Now the bound drug is remains in the bloodstream while the unbound component always moves from one place to the other. It can be metabolized, it can be excreted, making it the active part. Now if the drug, suppose a drug is 50% bound to the proteins and the 5% is in the free form, then it means that the 5% of the drug is only active in the system and it can cause the pharmacological effects. As a protein bound is of the drug is neither metabolized nor excreted, hence it is pharmacologically inactive due to its pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamic inertness. Next, there are two types of protein bindings. It can be in the form of reversible or it can be irreversible. Reversible binding of the drug with the protein generally involves weak chemical bonds such as hydrogen bonds, hydrophobic bonds, ionic bonds or van der Waals forces. That means if the protein and drug has formed any complex, then it can break again into the protein and the drug. In case of irreversible drug binding, it is although it is seen very rare, it arises as a result of covalent binding between the drug and the protein, and it is often a reason for the carcinogenicity or tissue toxicity of the drug. If the irreversible drug binding has taken place, then it will lead to carcinogenic effects and the drug will remain binded to that tissue. Next is how the mechanism of the drug movement takes place. Suppose this is blood, this is any tissue, and this is a major tissue, that is liver and kidney. Now if the drug is present in the free form and it has not binded, then this drug can move to other tissues or it can move to liver, kidney, etc. But if the drug has bind to the blood cells or the plasma proteins, then that drug will remain in the blood itself. Only the free drug can easily move, because as the drug binds with the plasma proteins, the size of this complex becomes large and it cannot cross the blood capillaries. So only free drug is allowed to move to the tissues, and if it goes to the tissue of the interest, then it can bind to the receptor site and the pharmacological response can be observed. Only the free drug can show the response. If the drug protein binding has taken place and this protein was from any tissue, then this complex will remain as it is, and as these arrows show, this is irreversible. This is reversible complex. It can again convert into free drug, and the free drug can again show action by binding with the receptor. Now if we talk if the drug moves to the liver, then if the drug is present in the free form, then it will bind with the enzymes and metabolites will be formed, and if these metabolites can also form complex with the proteins of that liver, and some free drug can also form complex with the proteins present in the liver. Similarly, if the drug moves through the kidney, free drug moves through the kidney, then it can bind with the carrier and the active secretion of the drug can take place, that is excretion in the urine can take place. Free drug can also be excreted as such, and this if the drug has converted into complex, that is protein drug complex has taken place, complexation has taken place, then the drug binding to the renal tissues will be observed, and if this drug again converts into the free drug, then it can be excreted in the urine. This is the chart which depicts how only free drug can move from one place to the other, not the complex to drug. Next, the types, the protein binding is classified into two types. The binding of the drug can take place to the blood components, that is plasma proteins or the blood cells, or it can binding can take place at the extravascular tissues to the proteins, fats or bones. Next is the binding of the drug to the blood components. What are blood components which can bind? Suppose we talk about the plasma protein drug binding. The binding of the drug to the plasma proteins is reversible always, and the extent of the binding takes place in as albumin has the highest binding property, then the glycoproteins have this at the second, and lipoproteins, and then globulins. So why albumins have a higher protein drug binding capability? Because albumin has 4 binding sites, that is site 1, site 2, site 3 and site 4, and these sites are named before some drugs like warfarin binding site, diazepam binding site, digitoxin binding site and tamoxifen binding site. Why they are named as per the drug? As the structure of the drugs, which will be similar to the warfarin, will bind at the site 1. The structure of the drugs, other drugs which will resemble with the structure of diazepam will bind at the site 2, and similarly at drugs which have the same structure as of digitoxin will bind at site 3, and same in case of tamoxifen binding site. Now as it is having maximum number of binding sites, so the extent of order of drug binding to the albumin is the highest, then with the glycoproteins, then lipoproteins, and then with globulins. What are glycoproteins? They have a molecular weight of 44,000 Dalton, and various drugs which can bind with the formation of hydrophobic bonds, the binding will take place with lipoproteins. What are lipoproteins? They are composed of, their lipid core is composed of triglycerides and cholesterol esters, and the outside core is composed of apoproteins. Now with glycoproteins, various drugs such as imipramine, lidocaine, which are basic drugs, can easily bind with the glycoproteins. Now the last one, that is the globulins. Globulin has also various is of various types like alpha 1 globulin, alpha 2 globulin, beta 1 globulin and beta 2 globulin, and the last one is the gamma globulin. To the alpha 1 globulin, various drugs such as cortisone, prednisolone, etc. can bind, and with alpha 2 vitamins, various vitamins can bind. With the beta 2, carotenoids can bind. With the beta 1, transferrin can bind easily, and with gamma globulin, it can bind to various antigens. The last one is the binding of the drugs to the blood cells. Various blood cells can easily bind with the drugs such as RBCs. RBCs 500 times in diameter as compared to albumin protein, and the rate and extent of entry into RBC is more for lipophilic drugs. RBC is composed of 3 components, that is hemoglobin, carbonic anhydrase and the cell membrane. Various types of drugs could bind to the various components, like phenytoin can bind to the hemoglobin, acetozolamide can bind to carbonic anhydrase, and the imipramine drug can easily bind with the cell membrane of the RBCs. Next is the binding of the drug to the extravascular tissue proteins. Various extravascular tissue proteins increases the apparent volume of distribution of the drug. Distribution of drug means the drug is reaching to the various tissues. So apparent volume of distribution will directly increase if the tissue protein is capable of binding the drug. Also, localization of a drug at the specific site in the body will take place. Various factors that can affect the binding of the protein at extravascular tissues is the lipophilicity of the drug, the structure feature of the drug, perfusion rate, and various pH differences. Now the binding order in various tissues is like that: liver has the highest binding rate with the proteins, then kidneys, then lungs, and then muscle tissues.